So it seems that the greenskins are finally making an appearance. This week we're getting Codex Orks, the Ork Combat Patrol, and a few other bits and bobs, including a repackaged Battelwagon. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today we're just doing a quick video to look over the new Ork releases. Certainly the Ork release has been very hotly anticipated. Games Workshop teased us with that Beast Snagger box, but now finally anyone who wants one can buy a Codex, and a few more of the new models that we've known are coming for a very long time. Let's take a look through this week's releases, talk about a few of the interesting bits for them, and then the new Ork Combat Patrol. So first and foremost, we do actually have the Ork Codex now. It's complete with new different cover art to the one for the Beast Snagger Codex. That was the one with the Squighog boy on the front cover. I do quite like this one, to be honest. It feels a bit more representative of the Orks in general, rather than their more tribalistic Beast Snaggers. It's usually £30, $50 or €37, and as normal there's a limited edition version as well if you want to pay a bit more. Next we have Combat Patrol Orks, which we'll get to at the end of the video. We've already seen the contents: 20 boys, 3 Death Copters, a Mega Armoured War Boss and a Death Dread, usually going for £85 or its equivalent in other currencies. Then we have the Ork dice and data cards. The Orky dice are relatively simplistic, suitably big green dice with a horned skull symbol in the place of the 6. Mercifully, they've included a 1 that is indeed a 1 this time. They've then got the data cards for things like stratagems, psychic powers and the like. Can be quite a useful thing to accompany the Codex. I'm not sure if there's mandatory with Orks as maybe some of the other factions. I kind of find them most helpful if you're trying to denote in-game effects, things like buffs and things. Orks do have a few of those, but not really all that many. Maybe not quite as important as armies like Admech, which have all manner of different buffs flying across most of the army. Next up we do have the Beast Snagger boys themselves. It'll be interesting to see the price of the new kit. I'm going to guess somewhere around the £30 or maybe $45 to $50 mark. Hopefully we'll have a bit of an update later in the week. In any case, it's kind of interesting that there are 11 models in here rather than 10. The old Ork kit did happen to build 11 models as well, which was quite nice as a bonus compared with just giving you the minimum 10. It would appear that for whatever reason they have kept that up, maybe for the option to either include or leave out the unit knob, or perhaps do the same with the thump gun, the 5-point grenade launcher that they can take. It'll be interesting to see if people gravitate to either these or the standard pattern boys. Both very much do seem to have their advantages. It just depends whether you want to shell out an extra 2 points per model for the invul save and +1 strength. As well as them, we also have the standard Beast Boss, the one on foot with the targeting squig, not the Beast Boss on Squigosaur, which will follow later I presume, and Zogrod Wartsnagger getting an individual release from the Beast Snagger box. Both quite fun models, though I'm not really sure I'd see myself using either of them in more competitive Ork lists. Zogrod just seems a little bit underwhelming for what he does, and if I was taking a Beast Boss, I'd most certainly be wanting to mount him on a Squigosaur. Next up, it seems that the Squighog boys will be released alongside the knob on the Smasher Squig, so you will be getting all of them in one box. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the most helpful thing ever. If you did want to be building up quite a big horde of those Squighogs, you might be ending up with an abundance of those knobs on Smasher Squigs. They certainly seem fairly decent for a cheap character that gives a pretty hefty impact hit of around 2 or 3 mortal wounds, but normally you're only going to be able to take 3 of them in one army list due to the match play restrictions. In any case though, I'm sure the Squighogs will be fairly popular. They just seem to have some pretty massive and general purpose melee for their points. Next we have the repackaged Battelwagon. Previously you'd have to buy an Ork Battelwagon all on its own, and then you'd have to buy the Battelwagon upgrade sprue separately if you wanted to get the Death Roller or the second cannon. It is handy to have that all included in one box, with of course the big caveat that if they just jack up the prices loads for this, then it could make it even harder to acquire them before. It certainly would be less fiddly than having to order in 2 separate things, but I suppose it could stop you from saving money if you did just want a basic issue Battelwagon and not to take the Death Roller. Finally, we also get the Big Head Boss Bunker, the new Orky's fortification with the loudspeaker on it. Strangely enough, I think that the most interesting thing for the Boss Bunker looks like it could be a fun deep strike threat. You could load it up with tank busters, looters or flash kits, and then jump it behind enemy lines, and unload some heavy Orky Daka from point blank range. I think it does do quite well with those kind of units, both getting them where they need to be, and also giving them far more protection than they'd otherwise have. Of course, that only seems to be around about half the Ork kits that we know are coming. There's still plenty of ones still to be released. I'd at least hope that they're going to be releasing the new boys, Death Copters, and the Mega Armoured War Boss all separately. I do kind of wonder if they might be releasing them slightly down the line, so it perhaps tempts more people to buy the new Ork Combat Patrol. rather than just buying the individual models later. On the Beast Snagger side, we have the Pain Boss and the Whirlboy, the Kill Rig that can also build the Hunter Rig, which I'm sure will be very popular in competitive Orc lists, and the dual kit that builds either Mozrog's Gragbars or the Beast Boss on the Squigosaur, which I'd argue is perhaps one of the strongest models in the whole Orc Codex. Hopefully these guys won't be all that far behind the first wave. Finally, of course, we come to the new Orc Combat Patrol, which we did kind of know was coming already from the picture of it in the Orc Codex. It is quite nice to actually get some proper pictures of the models within though, and not just the grainy ones leaked from the Codex. I'd argue that the Combat Patrol does seem like a fairly good one. 20 Orc Boys, the War Boss in Mega Armor with the huge chopper, 3 of the new Deathcopters with the rockets, and the Orc Death Dread. All really quite iconic models, and quite nice that the vast majority of them are completely new sculpts as well. I think plenty of Orc lists are going to want at least some boys in them, particularly perhaps upgraded to truck boys, which seem quite interesting now. The Deathcopters got massively improved with the number of rocket shots they get, plus having Ramshackle and those whirling blades in melee. Though the fast attack slot does seem to be really quite congested at the moment, they're certainly going to be fighting hard against Squighog boys and Warbikes for attention. Finally, that Death Dread's pretty similar to how it always was, the only model that was completely the same from the old Stark collecting Orcs to the new Orc Combat Patrol. I'm not sure if it's necessarily the strongest vehicle in Codex Orcs right now, but it's certainly a nice iconic Orky miniature, and not bad to have a few of them in the collection. At the moment we can't really say exactly how much of a discount this box is, though with almost all of the other Combat Patrols they do tend to be at somewhere around the 30% to 45% mark compared with buying all the miniatures separately. In general though, getting 1 or 2 of these does seem like a pretty easy way to get a bunch of greenskins on the table. The boys Deathcopters and Death Dreads you could all run multiple of. Maybe the only model that you wouldn't want to run that many of would be the Orc Warboss in the Mega Armor. I'm not sure he's quite the top choice for a Warboss at the moment anyway, and he can't run more than 1 Warboss in a detachment these days, which does make him just that little bit harder to field. In any case though, I'm sure it'll be pretty popular as a decent intro set to Orcs. Let me know what you think of the Combat Patrol down in the comments below. So as always, let me know what you think of the new Orky releases, and I'll most certainly have plenty of other content coming for the greenskins on Auspex Tactics, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more. Hopefully we'll have an Orc unit tier list coming sometime later in the week. Finally, if you'd like to help support the channel, I would just like to mention that I do have an Element Games affiliate link, which is down in the video description. Element Games is a discount retailer based in the UK, and they typically give between 10 and 20% off Games Workshop's miniatures. If you were thinking about picking anything up, then feel free to check them out. There is a link down in the video description. If you do buy anything after clicking that link, a small amount goes to help support Auspex Tactics without costing you any more whatsoever. Can just be a way to help out on things that you would have bought anyway. For people over in the USA and Canada, there is also an Amazon link down there as well. That one works basically the same. Click on that before making a purchase that you were going to make anyway, and a small amount goes to help support the channel. A massive thank you to you guys who have been using that already. It really does help out. In any case, an enormous thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.